all we need. Here we go. Rams on 3, 1, 2, 3. All right.
Welcome to the Clash of the Horns. So thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you guys liked the intro. Now let's get started with talking about the Rams in the preseason. The LA Rams in the preseason against the Cowboys, the Raiders, the Chargers, and the Packers. So we're going to be talking about the positives, the negatives, and the question marks going into week 1 against the Colts. From what I saw in the preseason, I think the offensive has made a dramatic improvement. The offense has improved dramatically in the wide receiver position. I think in Jared Goff's overall play and analyzing the defense and going with, the Sean McVay playbook, I think he's doing a fairly good job. Offensive line, I think the Rams have improved dramatically in the offensive line on the left side. On the right side, honestly, I think it's just as bad as last year. So if they either have to get a new player elsewhere, I know there's a bunch of cuts being made right now. The Rams already announced a 53-man roster. If things have to get done and we have to go elsewhere and get someone else to take either Jamon Brown's spot or Rob Havenstein, it is what it is. I think that those are the Rams' best available linemen is what they have starting right now. So we have to look at this realistically. And the Rams, if they run it on the right side of the right side of the offensive line, Todd Gurley's going to get stopped. If he runs it on the left side, there's hope that he will, get some yards. So unless we're going to run it every single damn time on the left side, we have to fix the right side of the offensive line. So hopefully we can do that. It is week 1. Maybe as the season progresses, they gel better together. But I think improvement-wise, we have improved dramatically. We have gone from having the worst left tackle, I think, in my lifetime with Greg Robinson, to having one of the best left tackles we've had in a long time, which is Andrew Whitworth, who's up there in age, but I think he has many years ahead of him, has never been injured, has never really missed any games. I think he's only missed like 2 or 3 games in his whole entire career with the Bengals, and he's a Pro Bowl caliber left tackle. And also John Sullivan as a center. He's also a very good quality pickup for the Rams. So we have really, really improved dramatically on the offensive line. I think Jared Goff's skills are going to be better showed now that he has more time to throw in the pocket. So he did great against the Cowboys. He did really, really good against the Raiders, and he actually did very poorly versus the Chargers. But I'm going to give that interception that he threw on him. He was being blitzed and stuff a lot, but he did overthrow the receiver. He looked like he didn't know what he was doing at that point. I think the first turnover when Bosa literally ran around Rob Havenstein, the weak side of the offensive line on the right side, and Jamon Brown didn't block anybody. He literally just backpedaling and didn't help anybody. But Joey Bosa went around Rob Havenstein, stripped the ball out of Jared Goff, who looks like he was about to throw it right as Joey Bosa hits the football out of his hands, and Melvin Ingram takes it to the house. I'm telling you this right now, if they can fix the right side of the offensive line, the Rams will score a ton, and I think Jared Goff will shut up a lot of people. If they don't, and they have to, do the plays on the left side every single time, he will have normal success. But if they can fix the right side of the offensive line, whether it's through coaching or picking up another player, if they don't do that, then he will be average. If they can fix that right side, then he will be, I think, top 10 quarterbacks in the league this year. Whether it's yards, touchdowns, you name it, first downs. I think he's doing really good when Cooper Kupp's on the field, which is another thing that I want to talk about is the wide receiver position. As I see it right now in my brain, Sammy Watkins is number one when I'm talking about wide receivers in order. Sammy Watkins, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Tavon Austin, Pharoh Cooper, Josh Reynolds. Those are going to be your wide receivers starting week 1. I think they did a fairly good job giving Josh Reynolds many opportunities to showcase his skills, and he did against the Cowboys, the Raiders, and the Chargers. That's my dog, Josh Reynolds, balling out. Just saying. And I even said in my rookie video when I was talking about he's a lethal one-on-one wide receiver, and he's also a deep threat. I mean, if I would have it my way, I would have Sammy Watkins as the number 1, Josh Reynolds number 2, Robert Woods, and Josh Reynolds out there battling it out. But you got your number 1 in Sammy Watkins. That's why you traded EJ Gaines in the second-round pick for Sammy Watkins. And then you have Cooper Kupp on the slot, and also Pharoh Cooper. And then eventually Tavon Austin will either do those certain plays that Sean McVay has for him, or he'll be out and about with special teams or whatever, and they'll probably end up cutting him next season. That's the way I look at it. But I see Josh Reynolds and Robert Woods fighting it out for the number 2 wide receiver. That's me. I think Josh Reynolds is a baller, and I'm just saying it because look at all the look at him against the Cowboys, look at him against the Raiders, look at him against the Chargers. He don't waste his time with like cute little routes, man. Give him that big time play because he's a big time playmaker, and I call it as I see it. So I've been saying that, and also the tight end position has improved. Bye Lance Kendricks and Jared Cook. Hello Tyler Higbee and Gerald Everett. And Gerald Everett exceeded my expectations, just like Cooper Kupp, just like Josh Reynolds. They have all balled out this preseason. It shows why, and I think the reasons why they were drafted was because Sean McVay. I think if we would have let it to Les Snead, would have picked some couple of bums, like maybe one right receiver and a bad lineman like he has since he's been our general manager. I think Sean McVay had a lot of say in this. So they all exceeded my expectations in the preseason. It's crazy. Especially Gerald Everett. Look at his moves, man. This guy is he jukes people. He's an ankle breaker. He's a big time tight end. He's a big dude, but he breaks people's ankles. Cooper Kupp is a reception specialist. I mean, he's not the fastest guy, but he'll get open and he will catch a football. As long as he's healthy. I know he was a little sore against after the Raider game, so they say that, hey, you know what, let's not play him against the Chargers or against the Packers. Let's keep him healthy for week 1. I like the fact that they're thinking ahead, and Cooper Kupp, you know what he's about. Watch those 2 games, Cowboys. Watch the other game, the Raiders. That's what he can give you as a wide receiver. So he's also exceeded my expectations, and I'm excited about this Rams offense. So if I would have to grade the Rams per position, I would say the wide receiver position, I'll give him a B+. Quarterback position with Sean Mannion and Jared Goff, I'll give them a solid B. And then when it comes to the offensive line, on the left side, I'll give them a B+. On the right side, I'll give them a C. Running back position, Todd Gurley is going to be our starter. Malcolm Brown will be our second string, and that Davis kid who looks really fast, man. It looks like a 1-2 cut type of running back. I think the running backs did fairly decent. We didn't get to see a lot from Todd Gurley, but we got to see a lot from Malcolm Brown. We got to see a lot to come from Davis. So I think the running backs, I'll give them a B, a solid B. This Rams offense is going to have some growing pains throughout the season, but I think they're in much better hands with Sean McVay and Matt LaFleur. I think they have acquired a bunch of talent and upgraded this offense through the draft and through free agency. So that's just my 2 cents in the preseason about this team. I think they've done really well. I think they've had a better preseason than they did last year, and they look like they know what they're doing offensively. It's just something you observe and you're like, oh, okay, the Rams look like a whole new team. People are talking like, hey, the Rams could actually do something this year, and that's how I feel. I've seen the Rams through the good times. I've seen them through the last couple of damn years, man. And I think the Rams are changing in the right direction, and they actually have a bunch of good players. Now we got to put that on the field and beat the crap out of the Colts. Now talking about the defensive side of the football, we didn't get to see many starters. I didn't get to see Samson Ebukam, who I thought was going to be a really good outside linebacker, defensive end type of player. But he was injured, so we didn't get to see him. What we did get to see was Tremaine Johnson, Maurice Alexander, Nickel Roby Coleman, Michael Brockers, Ethan Westbrook, Connor Barwin, who we acquired through free agency, a little bit of Alec Ogletree, but mainly the starters did not play almost at all in the preseason. If you want to see the starters, certain starters that played, you have to go watch the Cowboys game, you have to go watch the Raider game, and a little bit limited in the Charger game defensively. I can tell you this, Tremaine Johnson's going to have a lot better year than he did last season. And also, I can tell you this, if Aaron Donald comes back, this defensive team, this starting defensive team with no injuries, let's just say they're all healthy week 1, is dangerous. Look at it this way. Tremaine Johnson is our number 1 corner. Then you have Kayvon Webster, who is actually a pretty good corner, just didn't have a lot of playing time in the Broncos. So he ended up coming to LA with Wade Phillips. Then you have your front 7. You have Aaron Donald if he comes back. Then you have Michael Brockers, Ethan Westbrook, defensive line. The linebacker position, Robert Quinn, Alec Ogletree, Mark Barron, and Connor Barwin. That's a pretty damn good front 7, man. I'm just saying. Then you have Nickel Roby Coleman in the slot, and LaMarcus Joyner as a free safety, and Maurice Alexander as your strong safety. That is your defense. Those are our starters. I'm pretty sure we're going to keep it that way unless someone goes down. I think linebacker position, when it comes to the depth, is going to be okay. Defensive line is very bad depth-wise. The defensive line is not that good depth-wise. We do not have that many potential starters, or I would say players that you really know. It's all undrafted free agents or like 6th-round draft picks and stuff. So we have to see what we have. But I think Tanzel Smart had a pretty good preseason. Equan Price as an outside linebacker / defensive end is okay. I saw them play against the Cowboys and Raiders. They did fairly well. And obviously Samson Ebukam from Eastern Washington, like I said, an outside linebacker, is going to actually add a lot of depth. I think the Rams will be good in special teams because of it. And I think if a player goes down, then we at least have some depth in that position to cover that injury. Secondary, though, we have to be very careful. If, let's say, Tremaine Johnson goes down, who's gonna be taking his spot? Troy Hill? I don't like Troy Hill. I think he's very bad. We let go of Michael Jordan, who I thought had an okay-ish preseason, who ended up going to the Browns. We have a guy like Hatfield. Hatfield had an interception. So we have somewhat depth, but we don't have a quality depth. So we have to be very careful about injuries. I think under this Wade Phillips system, we're going to be very explosive, very dangerous. Preseason-wise, we didn't get to see much from the starters. I mean, you saw Tremaine Johnson balling out, getting an interception, possibly another interception against the Cowboys and against the Chargers. I remember those plays, but he had one interception against the Raiders where they did like a cool, crazy blitz, and he ended up getting an interception. that's about it from our starters, man. Defensive starters. Not much going on in the preseason, mainly because they want to make sure everybody's healthy and no one gets injured, and let's keep it that way. So I understand why Sean McVay took a lot of precautionary things he did, but moving forward, week 1, I think the Rams are in good hands. I think the Rams have upgraded both offensively and defensively in the secondary with Kayvon Webster and Nickel Roby-Coleman coming in. Linebacker position, it's just something we got to get used to as Rams fans. We were a 4-3 defense, now we're 3-4, but we have to just have patience with this defense. I think it's going to take them some time to really gel well together on the defense, mainly because a lot of players didn't play in the preseason. A lot of players were either injured, so they had to take it easy on them. But once this team becomes full healthy, hopefully by week 1, just mold a little bit better, gel together defensively, and then I think we can ball out. I think we can be a very surprising team. I think the Rams can go 9-7 going into the year. We just got to make sure we score touchdowns, man. Honestly, if this Rams offense could score at least 3 touchdowns, I'm saying at least 3 touchdowns, because last year there were like 5 to 6 games we only scored 10 points or less. That's statistically a tragedy. So if the Rams can score 3 touchdowns and have a really good defense, I think the Rams can go 9-7 or better. That's my just opinion, but I still think it's a possibility, especially with the opponents having an easier schedule this year than last year, having a better offense and just better coaching. I think that's why the Rams are in good hands going into the season. Be very hyped. The Rams have made a big time improvement. I thought at first, the Rams better not get a really bad head coach like another Jeff Fisher. No, they went young. They went, he's young. Sean McVay is very young, but he's been in the league for a while. He's been an offensive coordinator. He may not know how to run a defense, or he may not know how to be a head coach, but trust me, he knows his offense. And as long as this team is winning games, I bet you guys won't give a shit if he knows how to be a head coach or not. As long as he's winning games, scoring touchdowns, and getting us in the NFC West contention, and eventually in the playoffs, and then so on and so forth, I don't think anybody's going to care. Hey, like Eric Dickerson said, winning cures everything. And it was pretty cool watching Eric Dickerson retiring as a Los Angeles Rams. So hopefully other players do as well. I really hope, Steven Jackson retires as a Ram as well. And it's crazy cool to see that they're giving, Eric Dickerson that coverage and that opportunity to retire as a Ram, because I know a lot of old school Los Angeles Rams fans really liked Eric Dickerson. So, but like I said, this preseason, it showed a lot. It showed the improvement on the Rams offense, the coaching style of Wade Phillips, which is new to the Rams. The Rams fans aren't used to a 3-4, and it shows a lot of fight that we have in our second stringers, because we saw a lot of second string fight with Hatfield and Tenzel Smart and Juan Price, Littleton, Forrest, you name it, man. We have a lot of fight. Cody Davis as well. He was out there balling out too, laying down some heat. So I think the Rams are in good hands. That's all my thoughts in the preseason. I think we did okay in the preseason. It doesn't really matter that much. Let's get this first win against the Colts. Andrew Luck is not playing. That's what they're saying. I think also their starting running back isn't playing either. So we have a lot going for us, and I think we are favored to win that game now that Andrew Luck's not playing. And even if he wasn't playing, who cares? We still whoop that ass. You know what I'm saying? Especially like last time they thought we couldn't beat the Colts, and we embarrassed them in Indianapolis. So I think we can get this win. I think the Rams can get this first win against the Colts. So other than that, you guys, horns up. Leave a like, share, comment. Especially, I like the comments. Subscribe. Peace. Until next time. And I'll be talking about the other news.
save me, Los Angeles? When will you save me?